This upcoming piece you're about to watch, we're going to be talking about Kodacolor 200, Kodacolor 100, and Pro Image 100. I shot all three of these films side by side in order to hopefully answer the question, is Kodacolor 100 just the same thing as Pro Image 100, but with a slightly new makeover? What is up? Welcome back to another video. We have some things today. Ordered two things from B&H, and I know that this is one of those two things, but maybe it's two of those two things. And no, it is just one of those two things, it looks like. This is a big box for this, I think. And it's a blind box, so I don't know which one I got. Shit, I got the cool one. Nice. This is the one that everybody was hoping for. Not too shabby, not too shabby. The other thing that we have, Kodacolor 100 and Kodacolor 200. I'm gonna go probably shoot them. The sun's out, so I might as well take advantage of that opportunity. I got 4 rolls, 2 of each. I'm gonna give some to my buddy John. So immediately this is a different cassette. You can see there, looks very different obviously than the Pro Image. Looks very different from anything else, but that leads me to think that this is probably new packaging for the Kodacolor 200 as well. So this is obviously different packaging than the Color Plus, but I suspect it might still be Color Plus. But I'm going to shoot both of these kind of in tandem, I think, potentially. So that's it for the unboxing segment of this video. It's pretty exciting stuff, a lot of Kodak stuff coming in. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm pretty pumped about the little Charmera thing. Good stuff. Kodacolor 200. I'll put that in the M1 here. I've got 2 relatively similar cameras. We've got the K1000 and the Rollei SL35, both of which are sporting 50mm lenses, 1.8, 1.4. Both of these lenses are fairly uncharacteristic. I would call them quite clean. So it should be pretty similar in terms of like what we're going to actually be getting. We're going to do Pro Image in the K1000. We'll be putting the Kodacolor 100 into the Rollei SL35. I have the adapter for the Rollei 35, so I will be able to, what did I say, 125, 16, so we'll do 125, 11 there. Uno mas. Is that a bald eagle out there? I think that might be a bald eagle. Potentially, maybe not, who knows. 2 of them, looks like. It's like, can't see it because it's a really wide angle lens, but it looks like there's 2 eagles out there. It's sick. So yeah, if I can get through a thought without having a random tangent about birds, is that I'm going to inevitably shoot M42 mount lens because I have the adapter for K to M42 and I have the adapter for the Rollei. But what we're going to do in the interim before we get to that stage is just shoot with the 2 of them and hopefully achieve some idea of whether or not they're the same film based on the same settings being used and so on and so forth. So let's fucking do it to it. Okay, 125/5.6 is the reading. I have the foreground orange flowers in focus. .125/5.6 here. Foreground flowers in focus. And then let's get a little bit saucy. Let's give it some more light. So we'll shoot it at 4. Let's go around. And then I'm going to shoot this one at 4 as well. And then we'll give this one a 5.6 amount of light here. And that should be really poppy, really punchy, potentially. All right, so we'll bridge there. And that is 516. It's gonna be probably a little bit blown out if I'm honest. We're getting some like heavy reflection off the water. The skyline is pretty bright. That's gonna be very bright. So we'll do 500, 500, 5.6. That is that, and then we'll do the same here, 500, 5.6. I kind of like this shot, just the way that the pylons are kind of framing a portion of the bridge, and then there's the reflection of the pylons off the water. Kind of looks nice. Now, it's hard to tell if it is the viewfinder or the lens itself, but it appears like the K1000 has a bit of a cooler tone to it. So we'll kind of bear that in mind if we notice like any distinct differences in the overall color temperature between the two. 500, 5.6 on that. All right, so that is the first part of this test. I feel like we got some pretty good direct side-by-side comparisons. We'll pretty much know immediately, based on just one side-by-side, what we're actually dealing with. But I'm gonna save the last couple exposures until the very end. I'm gonna put on the M42 adapter for both cameras, get an M42 lens on both of them, and see if there's any difference between them based on that. That was 4,500. And then I'm gonna expose for the sky, so that way we get the difference there. And this is gonna be 11,500, with the bottom of the frame should be the horizon line. So 4,500, 11,500. Good stuff. So my idea is, by shooting with exposing this foreground here, which is going to be a little bit darker obviously than the sky, is that this should give us a good idea of the film's dynamic range. We should be able to see if it does well with the dark shadows and the bright highlights. I wish people wouldn't look at me like I'm crazy when I'm talking to myself on the side of the road here. All right, now in my bag of tricks today, we have all the same stuff, but we have a special edition adapters and an M42 lens. So what we will do is shoot some more here in this kind of shaded area. So we're just gonna hop that on. Look at that. So we'll do 60, 16 up on that. Do 125. And then we're gonna pull this down to 60 and 8, give it 2 stops out of curiosity. There's a distinct possibility. I'm glad I checked this, because this is actually very good to know. If this lens is fully pressed in, the aperture is not going to close. Now, as I've briefly alluded there, something I didn't realize as I shot some of the comparison images between the ProImage 100 and Kodacolor 100 is that the M42 lens I chose had actually decided it didn't want to work anymore. The aperture stop down was just not operating effectively at infinity. For whatever reason, it worked fine with the QBM to M42 adapter, but for another mysterious reason, it did not work for the K to M42 adapter. The images I took with the Rolleiflex and the Kodacolor 100 look fine. The images I took in the K1000 with the ProImage are way overexposed and incredibly blown out. This poses a bit of a problem because this was going to be the direct one-to-one comparison between the two, given that they were both being shot on the same lens. I tried to correct that in the future by doing a closer focus on a leaf. However, I, again, am failed by my lack of intelligence and was not able to get the leaf properly exposed or in focus. Plenty of film to do this, so that's good. We'll retake the comparison shots between the two, and we'll do that just right here on this leaf. That is what we will do. So let's the light is shifting quite a lot. 5/660. Okay. Now we need to do the same with the Rolleiflex. I'm really glad I figured that out now, because otherwise, just part of the lens broke off into the camera and then fell onto the ground. My main concern with finding an M42 lens that was going to work was making sure that it wasn't one that had with the radiated element, because I didn't want there to be like a huge color imbalance. But nice to know this one also doesn't work. God forbid I have things that like actually work relatively well, just not allowed. Like at some stage it would be nice to have working things, but we're not there yet, so it is what it is. Hopefully I got that okay. Hopefully I did that all right. I cannot believe that this doesn't work. I mean, I can believe it because it's like, my stuff, and my stuff never works. Very squealy. Okay, so that is ProImage 100 and Kodacolor 100, both done and dusted. I guess on the bright side, because I shot both of them with a broken lens, the results should come out the same. It's one of those things, lots of variables to account for, and that just so happens to be one of them. Is ProImage 100 and Kodacolor 100 the same thing? No, it's not. They don't perform the same way. The ProImage 100 has a little bit more warmth to it. The Kodacolor is a little bit cooler. There's some more blues. My assumption would be that the Kodacolor 100 is either going to be a ProImage 100 or a recanned gold 100, which I'm aware was a film previous to this. I've shot with like really old gold 100 speed film, but still, if it is anything similar to how modern gold is, the suspicion is that it would be a little bit warmer as well and more saturated, whereas I feel like the Kodacolor 100 is a little bit more muted, not as saturated, has pretty fine grain comparable to ProImage 100, but the ProImage that I shot has a lot of warmth to it, has a lot more character than I feel like the Kodacolor does. You look side by side, all of the settings are shot the same, the environments are the same, the photos are taken moments apart. Outside of the flummoxing of the lens, there is notable differences between the two. The Kodacolor 100 isn't bad by any stretch of the imaginations. I think it's very nice. I kind of want to play with it a little bit more and hopefully produce some better results in which to study. But I think for the time being, just looking at the images that I've got, I don't think for sure 100% that the Pro Image 100 and Kodacolor 100 are the same films. I don't think it is a new film though, because that makes very little sense to me. But regardless of its origin, regardless of the truth behind all of this, it was very exciting to get to shoot with. It was very exciting to look forward to seeing the results. It's always kind of fun discovery of what it's going to behave like in all these different circumstances, and I think it really held its own. I have a couple more rolls of Kodacolor 100 that I actually just got in the mail, so I'll be shooting with those again very soon. I think it's wonderful to have an affordable 100-speed color film option out there, and I'm very excited to see what you all create with it as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a lot of fun to put together, except for all the headaches that I kind of caused myself. Make sure to like the video if you enjoy it, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate that very much. I will have the full version of this video with all of the photos I took, with all of the extra commentary. That will be out on the second channel, probably by next week. It's going to be a lot longer than this one was, so if you're interested in more of my mediocre photography and strange ramblings, be sure to check that out. I appreciate that as well. Thank you again so much for watching. Appreciate it as always, and I will catch you on the next one.